round two, because before the mic was muted. So we're gonna try this again. What's up, y'all? Welcome and welcome back to the channel. I'm Tammy. This is Tammy Talks. We are here to talk Tia Mowry's My Next Act, Season 1, Episode 2, Healing is a Journey. If you guys haven't already, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, thumbs up the video, leave your comments down below about this episode, about the show, I guess about Tia just in general. Now, this episode wasn't a lot. I want to start off by saying that it wasn't a lot going on. It was a hard watch for me. I just wasn't into it for some reason. So I started watching it Friday, didn't finish. Started Saturday, didn't finish, and then I finished it today. I stopped taking notes halfway through, which is very unlike me because my notes are like notes. Stop taking notes halfway through, and I just want to like casually talk about this episode top of the head without the specifications of the episode. So it starts off with Tia vlogging about the healing party. And while I did not like the vlogging the first episode, I felt that it was kind of overdone. I enjoyed it this second part, and I think I'm going to enjoy it more moving forward. One, because it's a different cadence, it's a different ambiance, it's a different vibe than like the interviews where she's doing the typical confessional. So she's talking about the healing party, and we're just getting some of her very raw thoughts about it. So remember Sierra, who is her assistant, who I think we can really stand to see less of on the show. Sierra thought it would be a good idea for Tia to burn her wedding dress, and we were all like, "Girl, no. One, it's not yours to decide to do." But two, no. What is the good in burning her wedding dress? She didn't have a horrific divorce. So Tia is saying that that instilled like another thought in her to, hey, I have my wedding rings. I don't wear them anymore. Haven't worn them in 2 years. They're just sitting in the drawer. Why don't I repurpose these for the kids? Great idea, because the kids were a product of this marriage. The kids were a product of this union. That would mean something awesome for them, right? So it kind of gives them a little hint of we can remember mommy and daddy as they were, right? So I think it's a really, really good idea. Tia goes, she pulls them out, she puts them on, and she gets emotional. And Tia's lonely, right? That is kind of the theme of this episode. Tia is lonely. So I know there are a lot of people that feel that Tia regrets her divorce. I don't think she does. I think Tia is lonely. Tia has talked about how she has a lot of siblings, not just Tamara, but they have Tavior. Is that his name? Trevior. They got that youngest brother. They have Taj. Like, she grew up in a bigger family. And then she turned into an adult and got with Corey basically right away. So she's lonely. So I can understand how her looking at her wedding rings might have made her emotional in that moment. I'm not going to hold her to that. So we see Tia go to a jeweler right away. Great continuity. She goes to the jeweler right away, and when she walks in, she tells the jeweler, I'm getting a divorce, or I got a divorce. Excuse me. And the jeweler says, congratulations. And Tia's like, thank you. Because so often in society today, and I've done this myself, whenever somebody says they're getting a divorce or they got a divorce, we are conditioned to say, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And Tia is like, this is not a bad thing for her. And the jeweler tells her, look, you're moving into a new chapter. You're moving into a new phase of your life. Like, this is going to be great for you. And it will. Tia doesn't know herself as a person. Tia does not know who Tia Mowry is. And by her being single, by her being divorced, by her having to sit with herself in the stillness of her place where there's nobody around and she's not picking up the phone and calling people, she is forced to sit with her thoughts. Really get to know yourself. I don't think Tia should be even concerned with dating right now, but that's on her. So she tells the story about how Corey proposed. So it was Christmas Day. They were at her mom's house. And she said a Jagged Edge song was playing. Could have been Let's Get Married. Could have been was it Promise? I Promise You. Jagged Edge had hits on hits on hits. We can just put that out there. But the Jagged Edge song is playing. Corey gets on one knee and he proposes. So Tia is thinking, what is going to be Corey's reaction to me repurposing these rings? How would he feel about that? And she quickly is like, I have to get out of the habit of not considering other people. This is about me. This is about how I feel. This is about what I want to do with the rings. These are your rings, sis. So if you want to get rid of the rings, get rid of the rings. But she feels that because it's going to their children, that Corey would be okay with it. Even if Corey is not okay with it, then Corey is not okay with it. But they are your rings, and they're going to y'all children. It should be fine. So we then see Tia talking to Sierra, who we could stand to see a little bit less of. I'll say it again. Sierra is not needed on this show. I think a big disconnect on the show is Sierra. Sierra's way much younger. Sierra does not seem to have Tia's very best interest at heart. I think that seeing some of Tia's older friends would make a bigger difference. Her more mature friends, Natasha, Alina, hell, bring Essence back. Some of those people I think are going to make all the difference in Tia's healing journey. I don't think that Sierra is productive in it. That's just me. But she's talking to Sierra and she's telling her how, she wasn't allowed to date until she was 18. So she was sheltered, right? Her parents probably were even more so protective of her and Tamara because they were in the industry. So we have you guys on sets and you're doing all this stuff. We want to protect you even more. You're not allowed to date. So when Tia turned 18, she said her mom was like, all right, go for it. You're grown now. Go for it. At 20 years old, Tia met Corey and got with Corey. So she's never had a chance to be single. Tia's never had a hoe phase. And people talk about, the hoe phase. The hoe phase is important. The hoe phase is so important to every young lady's life. It just is. Don't debate me on it. It just is. And Tia has not had that hoe phase. So because she hasn't had that hoe phase, it's like she's just bursting with this like energy that she doesn't know what to do with. She has this itch to constantly go out and date. So she talks about how she was on Raya, which is basically the rich folks Tinder, okay? The average person cannot get on Raya, to my understanding. The biggest success story that I know about it is Simone Biles met her husband, Jonathan Owens, on Raya. We have heard Quincy, Diddy I'll Be Sure's son, talk about him being on Raya. It's not an app that you can just, the average person can just be like, okay, I'm going to go sign up for Raya. So Tia's on there and she says she has PTSD from it because she was getting, some weirdos. There was one guy matched with her and said that he is a huge fan of Sister Sister. And it's like, sir, my good sir, why would you say that? Why would you say that to her? Like, even if you are, like, play it cool, tuck your shame in. Oh my God, where is the swag in there? So she was like that. It was cringy for her. And I can absolutely believe it. I'm sure it was. So Sierra tells her, what about speed dating? And I'm thinking, no. But it tells me that a manufactured scene is coming. And that's exactly what we get. Tia talks about how she doesn't know how to date. Tia doesn't know how to date to have fun. She doesn't know how to, if a guy calls and says, hey, let's go grab dinner, and she doesn't think that she's going to eventually marry that man, she doesn't know how to do that. And I think that's kind of unfortunate because just the thrill of dating, the fun in dating is how you, again, learn more about yourself and how you just learn about what you do and do not want in a partner, what you will and will not tolerate in a partner, what you know what I'm saying? Like what you need to work on within yourself, introspection, to be ready and to be whole and to be best for your partner. Going from relationship to relationship to me is never a good idea. It just isn't. I have some friends who do not stay single. I mean, do not stay single. I have a friend that the most I can ever recall her being single is like a month and a half. And I'm not talking she's out casually dating. She gets in whole ass relationships. And she jumps from relationship to relationship to relationship. She doesn't know herself. She hates when I say it, but she doesn't. She doesn't know herself. You know the version of yourself that you are when you are with that partner. And she becomes a chameleon, so every partner that she's with, she changes up. She changes something about herself up. We don't know who the real person is even at this point. You know what I mean? And I would hate for Tia at 42 years old, 42, 43, however old she is, to get caught up in that same situation. I would hate that for her. So we get to the speed dating, and it's all these random men, and we can tell it's scripted. It's clearly fake because none of these men even seem remotely like they're all in the same league. It seems like they had an open casting call for this show, and they just had Tia show up. That's the vibe I got from it. It's so scripted, even to the point where there was one guy, Maher, he had the big hair. And while he was there with the big hair, she matched with him, or they had the speed dating in the booth. He comes back and it's like, I'm going to skip the queue so I can just get your number. And I'm like, skip what queue? Like, were you supposed to rotate back again? I don't know. I've never been speed dating, so I don't know how that works. But that entire scene just shows that Tia's awkward. Tia doesn't know how to date because when she did get a compliment, she like kind of made a face, and the guy was like, "That is your defense mechanism, I can tell." Just it was awkward. So the next scene is Tia, and I think that was Natasha and Sierra, and they're talking, and Tia is saying how she misses having somebody to hold. Is it so bad that she wants to be in love? She wants to hold somebody. She wants to be held. She wants to cuddle. She wants that security of another person. And Natasha was like, "Oh, you're lonely, and that's okay. Sit in that loneliness. Get to know yourself in that loneliness." Right? Like, people always say that we were not designed to be alone. I believe that. Humans desire other human contact and human connection. That's facts. But you, in the moments that you are alone, you have to be okay with that stillness. And Tia is not, because Tia doesn't know herself. Tia is uncomfortable with herself. So she gets emotional. She starts holding back tears. And she's like, it's in these moments that I wonder if I made the wrong decision. And they were like, with what? And she was like, with the divorce. Now, I know a lot of people are going to take this scene and make it appear as if, oh, Tia regrets her divorce. That's not what she's saying. When she's lonely, in the moments that she's lonely, she's regretting that, or she's wondering if she made the wrong decision, that does not mean that, oh, I shouldn't have divorced Corey. No, it means I'm lonely. If you're thinking about Corey in the moments where you're out and you're having fun and life is great and you feel on top of the world, then you regret it. But when you're at a moment when you're lonely because you can't find somebody to date, no, that doesn't mean she regrets her divorce. So her friend even tells her, Natasha's like, no, because your divorce was not sporadic. It wasn't something that you just did arbitrarily. Like, this is something that was a long time coming. You thought about this. You knew the consequences. You knew the repercussions. Like, you wanted this. So they take Tia's phone. They open up her Raya app, and they're like, we're going to set you up on some dates. And then we just don't see Tia the rest of the episode. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I don't care to see Sierra and Natasha grill people for Tia. So they set up these not Tinder dates, these Raya dates. One of the guys named Giancarlo, he said that because he's grown up in the industry, he would see Tia as a peer. The other guy was just extremely rude, talking about my time is being wasted and I didn't show up for my time to be wasted. I don't necessarily want to date somebody that has two kids. So why did you accept Tia? The world knows Tia has two kids. So he was like, I mean, oh, and they were like, did you do it because it's Tia Mowry? He says no. He compliments Natasha to try to like low key be rude and like condescending, and then is mad that she didn't say thank you. But you really didn't compliment her though. You said I'm sitting here and it's fine that I'm being grilled or something like that by two beautiful women. Was she supposed to say thank you back to that? She could have, sure. Sure. But like for you to be like, are you gonna say thank you? Like I didn't understand that. And then Lord have mercy, the last date was Phil. Yes, Phil from Summer House Martha's Vineyard. Y'all please bring that show back. But Phil from Summer House, and he comes on and he's just as annoying and cringe as he was on Martha's Vineyard. Because he's saying that he is witiful. The fuck is witiful? What is witiful? He meant witty. I said, oh God. Oh God. He then says that he broke up in his last relationship that ended because the girl had an abortion. He is saying how are you going to abort the white kids, but no, how are you going to keep your white babies but abort my black baby? And I said, okay, Phil. I don't know if this part was scripted or not, but it was very cringe if you ask me. It just was. I'm going to keep recapping the show because I feel like a lot of people have this narrative about Tia that she blew up her family and she tore her family apart for her to now go out and date and she's lonely. And I guess I wonder why people feel that she blew up her family. She was unhappy in her marriage. The best thing in that situation is not to suffer through it for the kids, but it is for Tia to do what she did, separate herself from Corey so that she can become a whole person, the best person that she can for her kids. I have friends that are proof that your parents staying together past expiration date can be not only horrific but catastrophic. I have stories about that. So it's not the best for you to just say, oh, well, she should have stayed together for those kids. No, that is not always the best solution. It's not. If her and Corey find themselves or find their ways back to each other in the future, so be it. But the way that people are chastising her for leaving a marriage she wasn't unhappy in, I think it's crazy, to be honest. Then there are the people that are saying that she's annoying because she's on a divorce tour that you are participating in. Because let's be real, Tia is not a celebrity. She's not a celebrity or a public figure that controls the blog sphere, right? Tia is not in the media circuit a lot. She's just not. So if you are seen or if you feel that you're being inundated by her divorce interviews, you're looking for that shit. You're looking for it. I have seen 2 interviews that Tia has done talking about being divorced. Tia doesn't come across my TikTok. Tia doesn't come across my Instagram. Tia doesn't come across my Twitter all that often for me to feel that she's on a divorce tour. You're searching her name. And let's be real. If you're in the comments, that means you actively sought out a recap. Why are you watching the show? Like, I don't know why. Like, people just don't like her. And I know that when you just don't like a person, everything that they do, people like to criticize and critique. People are upset she's talking about her divorce. The show is called My Next Act. She's going to talk about the first act. She's going to talk about the previous act. So I guess, I don't know. But let me know what you guys thought about the episode. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, thumbs up the video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.